Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on another video. And today I'm going to be doing the full review of this Blackberry KeyONE. And the thing about this phone is that the only reason I actually got it was because of this physical keyboard. And another thing was that it felt like this Blackberry was finally the Blackberry to pull the company out of the horrible kind of situation it was stuck in. Not to mention, I've never owned a Blackberry before, so I thought this would be a very good time to finally try out a Blackberry. So unlike most other reviews, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other reviews that you guys have seen out there, and I'm going to do a little bit of a different kind of review. So this is the first part of that video, and in this part of the video, I'm going to be telling you 5 things I love about the Blackberry KeyONE. So the first thing I love about this phone is the camera, especially the front camera. The rear camera is okay. I have nothing much to say about it, but the front camera is amazing. So the front camera has a very wide angle lens, very similar to the Galaxy S8. And as you can see in this photo, despite the phone being very close to me, probably about a foot away, you can see how much detail it captures. I'll take a selfie for you guys later and add this into the video, so that you guys can see the comparison between this and my iPhone, which does not have a wide-angle front lens. So the front camera is very good. The back camera, on the other hand, it's okay. Nothing to brag about. It's pretty good, but it's nothing that I would recommend for someone who's a very serious photographer. Number 2, the keypad scrolling function is excellent. I love it. I love it. The thing is, see, a lot of times when we have touchscreen phones, we cover a lot of the screen because we're scrolling like this. But the Blackberry, it thought of that. So let me just put up a Wikipedia. So here we go. We got a Google page open. So what we can do is we could just use this as a trackpad, and we can see how smoothly the page kind of scrolls down. And we can use this to go up, down, in some situations side to side as well. There we go, perfect example right there. And this really makes it so that the screen isn't blocked at all. You can see all your content without having your fingers block it. I didn't realize this was an actual issue until I moved to this from using my other phones, where I cover some of the information, have to move my finger, and then I really didn't think it was a big pain, but turns out after using this, I don't like those as much. The next great thing about this phone is the build quality. This phone has excellent build quality. I have yet to see a phone with this kind of build quality and sturdiness in a while. It feels very solid in the hand. It feels like it's a tank. It's heavy for sure, but that heaviness isn't gone to waste. It's not just heavy because it has to be. The body is metal, so the sides here are completely metal. And you can see all the borders, rails, buttons, everything is metal. And it has this kind of, I'm going to say, not plastic, rubber, somewhere there, this kind of really cool material on the back, which is textured. What this does is when you hold the phone, it makes the phone a lot grippier. All metal phones and all glass phones have a tendency to kind of start slipping, especially if you've been using them for a while and they get kind of sweaty. But this phone has been so comfortable to use and so grippy that I can't believe that other companies aren't doing something like this. It adds a lot more grippiness to something that you hold for such a long time. One thing I would quickly like to note is that generally all phones that we see today have very similar, symmetrical designs. So let me just grab the S8 here. So looking at the Galaxy S8, what we can see is that it has a very symmetrical design. The borders are curved in the same place on both sides, on all 4 corners, and even the back is extremely symmetrical. And there seems to be, even if you look at this, the heart rate monitor and the fingerprint scanner, they're equally laid out, between this. Whereas the Blackberry is kind of the first phone I've seen that doesn't follow symmetry in its design. So if you see down here, there's these curved edges, but on the top, we don't have these curved edges. We have rounded edges that are very different. They're not the same kind of curve that we have on the bottom. So if you can look here, you can see that there's this kind of curve that makes it a lot easier to use in your palm. But the top, it has this weird kind of different kind of design, which I don't understand. because it makes no sense to me why you wouldn't just try to follow symmetry in your design. But again, it doesn't hinder the usage of this device. The bottom really actually makes it a lot more comfortable to use, whereas the top, you don't have to hold the phone by the top, so you really never find out. So I'm just nitpicking this one at this point, to be honest, but it's a really, really weird choice in my opinion. So number 4, I love the way that BlackBerry integrated the fingerprint scanner into this phone. A lot of phones that don't have space for a fingerprint scanner nowadays, they just put it on in a weird position in the back. As you saw with the Galaxy S8, it's on the back. And while it does get okay when you start to get used to it in a while, nothing really beats something that you can unlock on the top of the table. So there you go. That's all it took. So the fingerprint scanner being on the top, on the front, means that even if it's laying flat on a desk, I can just rest my finger and it will unlock the phone. Whereas if I have my S8 on the table right next to it, what I would have to do is I would have to either type in my passcode manually, use the iris scanner, which for some reason disabled. There we go. I'd have to use the iris scanner, or I'd have to flip the phone over, put my fingerprint, and then now it will be open. So it makes it a lot more annoying, especially if you have your table lying flat on the table. But when you're using it and once in your hand, the fingerprint sensor comes a lot easier and it's a lot easier to access. But that's something that I'm kind of a little bit bummed out about on newer phones. But BlackBerry does a good job of keeping it in the front. The last thing I love about this phone has to be the fact that BlackBerry has made such a unique and different phone. I use a lot of phones. I test them out all the time, so people really don't notice how often I change phones, but this phone got a lot of attention from people. People were quite amazed about the fact that my phone had a physical keyboard, which just a couple of years ago wasn't a big deal, but now people aren't used to seeing these physical keyboards, and they were very impressed by the design and the way the phone integrated the keyboard with the screen, which is something that most people haven't seen yet. It's something that's new. It's something that's still not really caught on, but there's definitely a niche market here, which I'm sure BlackBerry will capitalize on because of how amazingly they've done. And I'm not going to include all of these as separate features, but there are some more things that I love about this phone. So one of these has to be the way the buttons are designed. So if you can look closely, you see that the buttons have a chamfered kind of edge with a silver lining instead of a black one, and it makes the phone look so cool. The buttons look really unique and unlike any other phone button that I've seen in a while, which is very good. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this video. This was part 1 of this video about why I love this phone, but I'm going to have a part 2 out stating all the cons and why I hate this phone. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I love to interact with you guys, so if you have any questions or concerns, just let it down in the comments below, and I will love to get back to you. Thank you so much, guys. Have an excellent day. See you soon.